Hello, my name is Molly and welcome to Theatre Life Talks. On today's episode of Theatre Life Talks, I'll be talking about auditions. So the first general topic I want to talk about auditioning is about my experience in auditions. I have done many auditions for the past 9 years. A lot of them have been over the past 4 years, the bigger ones I've been in. All these auditions have been with my theatre school. We do big length musicals at the end of each year and we have to audition to get a part. So in these auditions we have to act and sing. When I did my first audition for my theatre company was in 2016 when I auditioned for the Rocking Tale of Snow White, or Snow White. I auditioned for a dwarf role and I got it. That was my first audition and I got a good role. All the roles are amazing obviously, but I got a good role in it. When I went in for my theatre company personally, every company is different. I had to go on there and sing a song of my choice, and then I also had to do some lines that I had to learn. Okay, so now we're going to go on to learning lines as the first. When you have an audition, especially an acting audition, you'll be given a monologue. For my theatre company personally, we get maybe 2-3 pages of different paragraph monologues for each character. Usually there'll be 2 for each character, so you can pick and choose. There'll be different expressions and emotions in each one. They won't be favorite character, but there will be certain characters like the leads and some minor leads, and you'll have to learn these lines off by heart. Last year, I believe we had like a week to learn our lines, I want to say, maybe even 2 weeks. Most of the time it can be from a couple of days to a week or 2. It most likely will never really be the next day, because that's a little bit harsh for my company personally, as we go from little kids to adults, but you have to learn those lines. Now, learning lines for me at the start was very tricky. I am good at memorizing things quickly, but when I first started, I was only, I think, 9 or 10 years old, so it was tricky for me. But I have learned some tips. So my tips for this is to, when you get your script, research the character first. That is so important. If you do not know anything about the character that you are auditioning for, research them. Research the director of the play even, or just your character, their personality traits. If it's from a movie, which mostly every one of the musicals I've done are from movies, so you can look at the movie, or anything you do, you need to know everything about your character. You need to know your character inside out. Even if you don't get the role, you should know everything about that character. Then you'll be able to get inside their head and realize what they're trying to say and express to the audience. My next tip is to obviously learn the lines. For me personally, when I get a script, it's usually for a monologue for the audition. It's usually about a paragraph long, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little shorter. It'll depend on the character. I like to read a sentence, memorize that, and say it over and over and over and over again. Now, I just did this the other night because I was practicing my memorizing of scripts for when the auditions come around in about August. So I memorized a little monologue and I said it. I said every single line. I did 1 line at a time. I said it until I can memorize it. Sometimes I say 2 lines at a time if they're short, and I will memorize it. And then I will move on and make sure I get through the whole paragraph, or as many lines as it is, and memorize the whole thing. It's okay if you do not memorize it word for word. Most directors will be okay if you don't get every single word for word, but you get the main idea of what they're trying to say. I'm not saying this for every company. Some companies want you to say it precisely as it is written, but for an audition, sometimes they'll let you get away. The next thing I want to talk about is the singing component. So not all auditions will have this, but I will talk about it. For musical theatre, like I do musical theatre, we have a singing component. For my theatre company, personally, last year, I'm talking about last year, we had to learn a song where there was about 2 songs we had to learn, one for altos, one for sopranos, and we had to pick one of those songs and learn 32 bars of that, off by heart, no lyrics, with a backing track. And they also wanted us to have another song of our choice, has to be a musical song, and we had to learn 32 bars of that, or no, 32 bars of that song and perform it. So we had 2 songs to perform in front of the director. This is to show that you can actually sing the songs from the show, and the other songs are to show off your vocal range. So they will be, you know, soprano or alto songs or whatever kind of song you want to sing. It will allow you to show off your vocal range. Now for probably the scariest part, the actual audition. When you go into audition for my theatre company, last year we did something a little bit different than we normally do. We had group auditions. Now not everyone had a group audition, but our studio now was so big that it was so hard to get through every single person that wanted to audition. So we went in about groups of 4 or 5, and we each did a monologue, and we each sang a song. Sometimes we sang the songs together if we sang the same songs, and then we'd leave. So when I went in, I went with 4 other girls, and we all went in. We said hello to the director. They knew our names, of course. There was only one director in there, and she asked us why we were auditioning and who we were auditioning for, why we think we'd be a good fit for it, and some other general questions. Then she told us to do our monologues. So we would each get up, step forward, and step back, and we would say our monologues. And she wants, or directors in general, they want you to look at them. They don't want you to death stare them into the eyes. That's just creepy. But they want you to look at them. So they don't want you looking up at the sky or to the side or to the wall. They want you to look into their eyes, but also like move your eye level so they can see that you use an expression. And they want you to use facial expressions. They want you to use arms, movement. Probably one of the biggest tips my teacher, the director, gave each student was to embrace their character and do their movement. How would they move, speak, walk, talk? You know, how you have to be that character when you're auditioning. When I auditioned last year, I was a fairy tale character, and I was auditioning for the Sugar Plum Fairy. Pretty simple. But directors, especially my director, wanted us to do in different accents. We did Shrek last year. Shrek obviously has a Scottish accent. People auditioning for Shrek had to have an accent. People auditioning for Pinocchio had to have the Pinocchio, I guess, noise and the vocal range to go up that high in a Pinocchio voice. Or if they're auditioning for Donkey, they had to have the movement of a donkey. They had to be able to do these things. My director, unlike other directors, know what the cast can and cannot do. So they know, are they a strong dancer? Are they a strong singer? Strong actor? They know us. But if it's with a normal theatre company in general, they probably won't know what you're good at. So you have to show them. She gave us feedback, and we would say the monologue again, and either a different accent, more movement, or whatever feedback she gives us, we have to take it on board and do it no matter what. And that was the monologue, so everyone did their monologue, and then after that we did our singing audition. So firstly we started off as a group. We actually ended up doing, because all of us did the same song, we sang the song all at the same time. Personally, I'm an alto singer, so I was a bit lower than the other girls, so that was a little bit intimidating for me because I was the only one that was singing below the octave, but it was fine. So that was great. We all sang together, perfect. And then we had to sing our solo songs individually. So this was 32 bars. So we each came up, said what song we're singing, did it with a backing track, and it worked out fine. After the audition now. So after the audition, many people may get a callback. Personally, I have never gotten a callback, but for the past 4 years, I have gotten a role. Last year I didn't get a callback. Before that, I've never gotten a callback from what I can remember, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. It really depends. If like I said, I've always gotten a role, even it's most of the time it's a small role, but it's okay if you don't get a callback. I was worried last year. I didn't get a callback. All my friends got callbacks. I was like, did I do something wrong? I'm not gonna get a role, but I did. So don't stress if you not get a callback. It doesn't mean that they've left you out of their mind. They're still thinking of you. They could have just found you like, you're the perfect one, we don't need to hear you again. The only reason they do callbacks is to either they want to see you in a different role, which is most of the time at my theatre company what they want to do. So somebody auditioned for Donkey, they want to hear them as Pinocchio. Some auditioned for the Dragon, they wanted to hear them as Shrek. A lot of people got Shrek callbacks because not many people auditioned for Shrek because they were scared of the accent. So they had callbacks to do that. Sometimes callbacks are good, sometimes they're not. It really depends. So do not stress if you not get a callback. I stressed out so much, but I was fine in the end and I got a good role. I ended up getting the Ugly Duckling and the Fairy Tale Creatures, which was a really good role for me. I really liked it. But yeah, so if you don't get a callback, do not stress. If you do get a callback, also do not stress. They like you if you get a callback. Obviously that means they want to see you again. Also, callbacks can mean they want to see you work with other people. So they might want to get someone they think can play Shrek and Donkey or Fiona. They want to get them all together and see how they work as a group to see the chemistry. And finally, when you do get the cast list, please, 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 if you get a role, do not brag about it, okay? If your name is not on the cast list, that is okay. Not everyone's gonna get a role. There's probably 1,000 girls in open call auditions, or 100 girls, or maybe even 2 girls. It really depends how big the theatre company is, how big the casting is, the director, what they want. They will not want every single person. That'll be too much. They only got a limited amount of roles. My theatre company, there was about 114 people that auditioned and only 60 or something got them roles. So a lot of people did miss out, but they moved on and we got over it. Now, yeah, like I said before, if you do get a role, do not brag. Even if it's the biggest role, say you got Shrek in Shrek, you're like, oh my god, I got Shrek. Do not go around telling people. They will see your name in the cast list. You don't have to brag about it, because then people will feel bad that, oh, I didn't get a role, you know? So that is my tips and tricks on the audition process. So I really hope this helped you guys with your auditions, if you have any. So yeah, thank you for listening and watching to Theatre Life